Hello everyone, it's Margaret here with 60andMe. Thank you for joining me today. You know, I love the summer weather, I love the bright sunshine, but it plays havoc with lighting as I'm trying to do videos. But I thought I'd carry on because it's a beautiful day today. The sun is shining, but I've got curtains up to try to block the glaring light, but it just insists on coming through. So here's my gift to you today, a bright sunny room to talk about living spaces. And as you may know, I live in a single room, so I live in a studio apartment, and so I don't have to think too much about other people in my space and and living with other people. But the topic today is about home sharing, and I want to just share with you, I mean, personally, I don't think it's for me, but I know that there are many reasons that it's attractive to other women in their 60s, and I think there's a lot of really amazing options that are out there. So I want to chat with you about that. Now, you may think about the Golden Girls or some of those TV programs where you get 6 people or 5 people all living together, usually around a common interest. They've got some sort of mission or belief system or value system that keeps them, kind of connected. But the Golden Girls was quite funny, of course, because they were all different and they were all uniquely quirky and funny. And so that sort of home sharing for them was, well, it was a TV show for one thing. It wasn't real life. But I think a lot of people are doing this. So maybe you haven't considered doing something like this. But if you are in a big home, your children have left home, you've got extra bedrooms, perhaps your partner has passed or you've divorced, you've got empty rooms. And there are some amazing organizations now that you can, use to rent out those rooms or to, do a house sharing opportunity. Now, our blogger Riley Gibson works for Silvernest, which is one of the big ones in the United States, and they offer accommodations, shared accommodation for women, people over 50. And there's many of them. Cohabitas is another one. I think there's many different kinds of options you've got, but they're ones where they have either rooms for rent in a shared big house, or individual rooms in a co-housing arrangement. And I want to talk to you about some of those options. So there are ones like rental companies where you can go and look for the area you want to live, the kind of situation, 1 person, 2 people, perhaps a whole group of other people in a big house. A rental accommodation, or you've got some things that are really emerging now called co-housing and co-living. Now, the difference is that co-housing is an arrangement where somebody will purchase, or a group of people will purchase a big house, and they will take out a shared ownership in that house. So they will decide up front that there's going to be maybe 12 people living in that house. Everybody will purchase a share of the mortgage, and they will have a monthly mortgage payment, or they can pay an amount up front as an investment. And if you go into online now and type in co-housing, you will see so many different options, and many of them are around older women. It just seems like this is a tendency, or maybe it's I don't know, a direction that we like to go. We like to be with other people. Maybe we're more sociable or more resourceful, but it seems to be a lot going on for older women. So that's co-housing. Now, the challenge with co-housing, of course, is you've got to have money. You've got to either have a house that you've sold and have some money that you can put into the investment. And there are some other sort of hybrid ones coming up now where you can do a kind of rental to buy, kind of a shared ownership without the upfront money paid out. But co-housing is really popular. So I advise you to check it out. And by the way, I'm going to talk in a minute about some of the pros and cons of doing any of these, but I'm going to lay out the options first. Co-living is another one. Now, co-living has had a huge explosion in the last few years. And I actually explored some of the options myself, because these are people who, they're places where they're either owned by an individual, it could be a management company, it could be a rental organization, where they actually have taken a home or a house and redesigned it so that there are individual rooms available for rent, and then there are shared spaces. So it's not someone's house. Where you've got a woman or a man, or both, who have got rooms to rent in their home. That's kind of a home sharing model. But this co-living is where properties are specifically designed for multiple groups of individuals. Most of these individual rooms have a shared bathroom, and that's sometimes an issue for a lot of older women, but more and more now are designing co-living spaces with ensuite bathrooms. Most people, I mean, myself included, I don't mind to share a kitchen or a living space, where you can go sit and read, or even a gym, or, a shared social area. But I would really, really like just my own bathroom. So a lot of the co-living spaces are now being developed with that. And again, there's so many different options. I would just suggest, if you're interested, go up and check out co-housing, co-living, home sharing, and you will see your options. I hope I've done a reasonable job of explaining what those three are. So did you know that the AARP, the Association for Retired People, says that 4 million women who are 50 plus live in households with at least two women? So this is definitely a trend. And it's, in some cases it's companionship or friendship. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's a beautiful way to share your space. But a lot of it is actually for people who are dealing with financial challenges and want a less expensive option. Now, 80% of boomers today, did you know this, own a home? So you can actually, if you've got a spare room, earn, a significant amount of money, $10,000 a year plus in passive income by renting out your space. And of course, I haven't even mentioned the, the Airbnbs and other groups, home shares that if you have spare space, you can, get a rental agreement in place for that. So that's another whole thing. But so renting a space to share expenses is a really big motivator for people who've got bigger houses and want to share. The other thing, of course, is the social factor. A lot of people, as they age, and I'm 73, so I'm in that group with all of you, want some companionship. And I think a lot of people are dealing with, as I said before, financial concerns, so they cannot rent. Property prices are going up. So to live alone, it costs a lot of money. And you think, well, maybe it's just nice to have someone to come home to. Come home and have a chat with someone, or, have a meal together. But you don't have to, but, it's just part of that option that you work out between you and the person whose home you're in. It can definitely impact your health and well-being. We know this. They've done so many studies to show, yes, exercise is super important. So is eating the right food. So is, living in the right place, right town, the right city, the right environment with the right values. But having friends, having companions is like one of the main sort of markers or indicators of good health and well-being. Super, super important. The other thing that you can do is basically feel useful in a home if you like to, help out in the garden. If this person that you're renting from, or this co-housing or co-living group has land and has a place to garden, you can start to explore some of these really cool hobbies or interests that you might have. So not only is there social engagement, just someone to compare a book or do a shared hobby, but it's also a way to get out in the open air and contribute to the house. It becomes more of a place that you're living rather than just renting. The other thing about these types of emerging models like Cohabitas and Silvernest and others is that they are actually doing good in the community. It's a good thing because the community has got in general, especially in the United States, Canada, and developed countries. Well, I say developed. I use that in quotes, like UK, Europe. They have a shortage of houses. There is a shortage of rental properties, and so by putting your house on the market, sharing a room, bringing in a renter or a group of people, that's helping the community overall. I think that's a really, really good one. The renters, the person who's renting, of course, wins financially, the management company or the person with the house, but also the renters benefit. You save money, you get companionship. It can be a temporary arrangement. It doesn't have to be something, it could be something that you're doing while you move through a divorce or while you move through a situation that just could be helped by having some company. So 2 questions. Have you, as a homeowner, considered renting out a room in your space? And if you are, tell us the story. How did it go? Of course, there's all kinds of other topics that we can talk about in terms of contracts and agreements and all that kind of thing, and that's all been documented. You've got the facilities to do that. But have you thought about renting a room in your house or several rooms? And if you're a renter, have you considered home sharing? Instead of renting a little apartment by yourself or a studio like I've got, would you consider renting a room in someone else's house? Being someone else's roommate? Not in the same room. Although Young people are doing this too. You could have somewhere to live if you or sleep if you're working in the city and getting started. But it's the whole housing market, I think, is shifting and changing for the better. I really do think that's the case. So, did you like this conversation? Is this something that's of interest to you? Would you like us to talk about it some more? Please, like the video if you did enjoy it. We do lots of videos four times a week: Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'd love to have your feedback and your support. So tell us about your home sharing experiences. We'd love to know. Take really, really good care of yourself. Stay safe and strong, and know that we're here for you at 60andMe. Lots of love.